Yeah, I love Poirier. Conor McGregor, I love him too. He's awesome, and he obviously, he had that, even the fight with Floyd Mayweather, I think was probably super beneficial for him with his boxing and giving him confidence, just the training alone. Um, so it's obviously, I think it's going to be more of a boxing fight unless Poirier is taken to the ground, which I really can't imagine. Um, and that being said, I'm gonna have to go with Conor McGregor again because Poirier. I think it's just a bad matchup for Poirier, being that he's just more of a boxer, and Conor McGregor, that's been his forte his whole career as well, and he's already proved uh, to have the leg up on him in that last fight they fought. So it's an interesting fight. I'm pumped to watch it because Poirier is as tough as they come, and I know he's probably super motivated for this fight. And you don't know where Conor's head is really at, so it should be interesting.
McGregor. I think McGregor's gonna win. I think he's McGregor's good too, man. McGregor's one of those guys where like not only is he just kind of like this big highlight reel of knockouts and moves and stuff, but I think that he's also just like a really high level fighter, and I think that we like to see things too black and white in the sport sometimes, and it's really easy to write someone off as like, oh, McGregor fought blah 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 and he got beat by Khabib and this and that, and it's like everyone that's fought Khabib got beat by Khabib like that. So no, Conor is not someone just to write off because he got beat up by.
Yeah, I think Conor's going to win, but obviously I would love Dustin to win.
Shit, man. If somebody gave me $3,000, man, to put my money on, I mean, just from a betting point of view, man, without the odds, I'll put it on Conor, just because, man. It's just like it's just like, man, it's like you got Mayweather, man. You know what I'm saying? I can't compare him to Mayweather, but for Mayweather way up here. But I'm just saying it's kind of like, you got all this, all the clout behind you, man. So it's just like, man, it's kind of hard to bet against you.
Conor McGregor. I feel like in the beginning, I used to always kind of like not doubt him a little bit, but when it comes to, I think that fight, if he's going against someone that has like good boxing and good striking, I think that he looks even better. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Conor McGregor on that.
Dustin's he's just such a well-rounded boxer, and obviously he's in it still, where Conor hasn't really been around, hasn't really been in it for the last couple of years. So to see, hard work makes a difference.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I like that one. I kind of want to go with the underdog here and go Dustin Poirier. I think he looks a lot healthier at 155. He's been a little bit more active than Conor, I would say, like from a mental standpoint. I know Conor's a really tough dude, but I think Dustin Poirier's head is a little bit more in it. So yeah, I'm going with Dustin. I'd like to see them have a little trilogy.
I think Poirier is going to get the upset. I think he has improved his game phenomenally since he last stood in the cage with McGregor, and I think he's gonna be a different fighter. I see differences in the just looking at his fight with Dan Hooker. He had his hands up a hell of a lot more. It was a good fight, and I just don't see Conor clipping him like he did the last time.
Well, I know Dustin. He's one of my friends. I mean, we don't really talk to each other as much anymore now that we're not training at the same gym. But I've always liked him because he's kind of a stand-up guy. And so I want him to win 100%. I hope he wins. I hope he. I like to see that there's a lot of these guys who have been around a long time that are starting to get rewarded. Your Dustins, your Jorges. Sort of like. For a second there, everyone was so obsessed with records. They were so obsessed with everything, and people were protecting themselves and not really being fighters anymore. It was all for show. And it's nice to see some of these guys who have been around a long time actually starting to get the credit they deserve. And so I like Dustin for that. I think he's grown up a lot as from the first fight. Dustin has always been a little of an aggressive person. He's an emotional guy, and I think he's reined that in a lot. And I don't think Conor will be able to get under his skin as much as he did the first time. But Conor is a freak athlete. He's got serious power in his hands. And anyone who doesn't see that or underestimate it, he hits hard. you know. And obviously the way to beat him is to drag him into the late rounds, you know, sort of try to drown him that way. And I don't keep track enough to know if how hard he's been training or what's going on in his life or whatever, you know. I mean, but I think Dustin can pull it off, but it's obviously going to be a very tough fight.
I think Dustin gets the rematch. I mean, at this point, they're both moving up a weight class, but Dustin has been just so active over the last couple of years since they fought last. I feel like he's fought a lot more tougher competition than Conor has over the last couple of years. So I just feel like Dustin be the one that edges it out this time.
With that original flow, head kicks with the pros, picks of the fights or anything in the mix. Getting closer to the heart of the flame, bringing conversations with heavy hitting names. You feel the love of the game.